Charlie McArthur wants out. Not permanently, but he's hungry, he's determined, and he's ready to prove himself in the January transfer window. Despite a loan spell that saw Carlisle United relegated, this young Scottish defender isn't backing down. He's coming back stronger, wiser, and more motivated than ever. I'm Rodrigo, and you're watching Newcastle Mania, the channel made by a supporter for supporters who are absolutely obsessed with Newcastle United. You blinked, and Newcastle became the headline everywhere. And whilst our academy continues producing talent that could shape our future, there's one name you need to keep an eye on. But we'll get there, trust me, the main story is coming. But first, just a quick word, if you love Newcastle and want to stay on top of everything happening with our club, subscribe to the channel right now. Costs nothing, helps massively, and makes all the difference to the growth of our black and white community. Here's the thing about young players. They either crumble under pressure or they use setbacks as fuel. Charlie McArthur, he's choosing the latter. This 19-year-old Scottish centre-back, part of Newcastle's under-21 setup, has just openly declared that despite experiencing relegation during his loan spell at Carlisle United last season, he's ready to go again in January. And honestly, that takes serious character. Let's break this down properly. McArthur joined Newcastle's academy from Kilmarnock back in the summer of 2022. Since then, he's been grafting his way through the ranks, becoming a regular feature in our under-21s. Last January, he got his first taste of senior football, a loan move to Carlisle United, who are scrapping at the bottom of League Two. And look, it didn't go well. Carlisle got relegated to the National League. McArthur made 10 appearances under 2 different managers, first Mike Williamson, our former defender, and then Mark Hughes, the Manchester United legend. But here's what's impressive. Despite that disappointment, McArthur's speaking openly about what he learned. He told Chronicle Live it was getting a taste of first-team football and seeing that jump. Although the under-21s is full of top-class players, going into the league is totally different. It's a fight and a scrap every week. That's maturity right there. He's not making excuses. He's not hiding from what happened. He's owning it, learning from it, and preparing to do it better next time. Now, this news has caught the attention of clubs across England and Scotland. According to Chronicle Live, multiple teams have expressed interest in taking McArthur on loan in January. And the lad himself, he's made it crystal clear. He wants to go. I would definitely be open to another loan because I want more experience of first-team football. He said, I've expressed that and I think everyone knows I want to go out and play first-team football. That hunger is exactly what you want to hear from a young player. Because let's be honest, how many 19-year-olds would bounce back from relegation with that kind of determination? Most would be shattered. Most would second-guess themselves. But not McArthur. And there's something else worth mentioning here. Jordan Jones, one of his teammates, told him something that clearly stuck. You learn more in the hard times than you do in the good times. That's football wisdom right there. That's the kind of mentality that separates players who fade away from players who make it. Let's talk about his time under Mike Williamson for a moment, because this is fascinating. Williamson, as we all know, was a proper Newcastle man. Over 170 appearances for us, part of that squad that reached the Europa League quarter-finals under Pardew. He knows what it takes to succeed at the top level, especially as a centre-back. And McArthur soaked up everything he could during those 3 weeks working with him. He said, Williamson used to pull me into his office and talk me through everything. He would sit down and go through clips because we played in the same position. That's invaluable, isn't it? Having someone who's been there, done it at St James's Park, taking you under their wing and showing you the ropes. Even though Carlisle's season collapsed, McArthur took something meaningful away from it. That coaching, that mentorship, it's going to serve him well down the line. And let's not forget Ian Watson, the assistant manager, who's now doing brilliantly at South Shields. McArthur credited him as well, saying he helped me massively, so even in a struggling team he found quality people who invested in his development. What makes McArthur an interesting prospect is his position. Centre-backs with genuine leadership potential and the mentality to learn from adversity don't grow on trees. He's a Scotland under-19 international, which tells you he's already on the radar at international level despite his young age. And here's the key thing, he's not content with just playing under-21 football at Newcastle, he's
seen what first-team football demands and he wants more of it. That's the attitude that gets you noticed. That's the attitude that turns academy players into first-team regulars. The fact that he's actively seeking another loan rather than sitting comfortably in the academy setup shows ambition. He could easily stay at Newcastle, keep developing at a slower pace, and avoid the risk of another difficult spell, but he's not built like that. He wants the challenge. This is part of a broader picture at Newcastle, isn't it? Our academy has been producing some genuinely exciting talent lately. We've seen players like Lewis Maley break through into the first team, proving that there is a pathway for young players if they're good enough and hungry enough. McArthur's situation reminds me of other young defenders who've gone out on loan, faced adversity and come back better for it. Look at someone like Harrison Ashby, who had mixed experiences during his loans but kept pushing, or consider how Jamal Lewis developed through loan spells before establishing himself in senior football. The January window could be massive for several of our under-21s, not just McArthur, and what clubs in England and Scotland are seeing in him is a young player with resilience, coachability and genuine desire to improve. Those qualities matter more than having a perfect loan spell where everything goes smoothly. So what happens next? Well, January's coming fast and it sounds like McArthur will get his wish. Multiple clubs are interested, which gives Newcastle options. Do we send him to a League One side fighting for promotion, a Championship club needing defensive cover, or perhaps back to Scotland where he might get regular football in the Scottish Championship or even the top flight? The key is finding the right fit. Carlisle was a baptism of fire, a team in crisis, fighting relegation, 2 managerial changes. That's tough for any player, let alone a teenager on his first loan. This time we need to be smarter about the placement. He needs somewhere he'll play regularly, but also somewhere with stability. A club that's challenging near the top of their league, not scrapping at the bottom. Somewhere he can build confidence, develop his game, and come back to Newcastle ready to challenge for a first-team spot in the future. Because let's not forget, Newcastle's defensive options won't stay the same forever. Shah, Botman, Byrne, Lascelles, they're all quality, but football moves fast. If McArthur keeps developing, keeps showing this mentality, he could absolutely be part of Newcastle's long-term plans. This is what it means to represent Newcastle United, even at academy level. It's about resilience, it's about learning from setbacks, it's about that relentless hunger to prove yourself. Charlie McArthur experienced relegation at 19 years old, something that would crush many young players, but instead of retreating, instead of doubting himself, he's stepping forward and saying, "I want more." That's the black and white spirit. That's the mentality we want running through every level of this football club. And whether McArthur becomes a first-team regular at Newcastle or carves out a successful career elsewhere, he's already showing he's got what it takes to succeed at the highest level. We'll be watching closely to see where he ends up in January, because this young man has a point to prove, and something tells me he's going to make the most of his next opportunity. And that's where we are with Charlie McArthur, a young defender ready to bounce back and show what he's really made of. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure you're subscribed to Newcastle Mania. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an update about our club, from the first team to the academy and everything in between. I'm Rodrigo, and remember, away the lads! We'll see you in the next one.